Hey, it's Chris DeMakes from Less Than Jake, and we're coming back to Australia. Yeah, have I think it's like what 9 or 10 shows we're doing down there. It's a pretty good amount, and
Hey, you're not fucking around.
no, we're not messing around. We're coming down with our friends the Bennies. We're gonna take those knuckleheads back out. It's gonna be a party.
Beautiful. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, as you say, listen, Jake returned to Australia this October for the first time in 7 years, mate. So, let's get the elephant out of the room straight up. Like, why have you neglected us for so long?
Oh, geez. So 7 years by my account. Was it 2016 was the last time we were there? I
Well,
guess
I can't add
so.
up then. That's 8 years.
20 was it 2017 somewhere around there. I think it might have been 2017. Shortly thereafter, because we for a while there we were trying to get down to Australia every 2 to 3 4 years, tops. We try to get back down there for at least a festival or for our own tour or something. And then of course the we lost about 2 years of the pandemic, and now here we are. So it took bands a minute, not to make excuses. It took them out of the pandemic a second to start traveling overseas. There was still some overseas travel stuff. So we're glad to be back, and we hope it's not anywhere near as long next time.
So, what's actually changed with Less Than Jake in those 7 years, mate? You had any major changes, or was just business as usual?
Well, business as usual for the most part in terms of the band, just moving forward as we always have. Our original drummer, Vinny, stepped down in 2018, and Matt Yonker has been playing drums with us since then. He appeared on our last full length record, Silver Linings, and he's on all of the new three new singles that we've released over this past summer. Well, this summer here in the United States.
Yeah. Cool. And you're making things hard for yourself, bro. Like, you're not only doing your own Hello Rockview down under tour, but you've also jumped on the Hotter Than Hell lineup as well, mate. Like, you're definitely making up for lost time.
We are. Yeah, we try to hit festivals and do some stuff on our own. We get down there, and sometimes beggars can't be choosers. You take what you can get, and this time it just worked out. It's great. In fact, when we initially announced the tour, there was a lot of people angry because we couldn't announce those markets because the
All
festival
right,
hadn't
yeah.
announced it yet. We were
You're
getting
not
hate
coming
mail.
out.
Oh yeah, and it's just throw people were saying some stuff, and you want to jump in, and they weren't being mean, but they were how Australians can get. You guys can get feisty. Like, come on.
Well, you're right, because when I was doing the research on this before I saw the Hotter Than Hell part, I saw you're not playing in Brisbane, and I'm thinking, like, what the fuck's wrong with Brisbane? And then I
Yeah.
read down the Hotter Than Hell, and you're playing there, so forgiven.
No, no, Brisneyland, Bris Vegas, whatever you want to call it. I love it. It's one of my favorite cities. I'll never forget walking the bridge there and seeing those bats.
Yeah,
You know
they
what I'm
shit
talking about?
everywhere too. Don't leave your car underneath them because they shit everywhere.
Yep. So good times.
I remember when I was living up in Cairns years ago, there's this couple of major trees in the centre of town, and the bats all nestle in that. And like I say, they shit everywhere, but you get tourists come in and they'd park their vans underneath that tree and leave them for a couple of days and come back, and A, they'd be covered with shit, and B, that stuff is acidic as fuck, man. Like, you come back after a couple of days and it's eaten through the paint, and it's
Yeah.
fucking terrible. All right, well, we'll start with the Hello Rockview part of the tour, where you're going to be playing the 1998 album with the same name in full. Like, I know my arithmetic's pretty bad, but that's 27 years or so since that album's come out. Like, there's no anniversary for that. So, what are you doing that album for?
Well, that's funny you should say that. So the record came out in the fall of '98. So in the fall of last year, 2023, that was the 25th anniversary
Right.
of the record. So we were playing the album in the United States last year. We did a run of it. Did we do a run in England? Maybe. I can't remember. And now we're bringing it over to Australia this year. So and the reason we justified continuing the tour and still celebrating the 25 year release of it is we toured Hello Rockview well into 1999. So it was like, a year and a
Fair call.
year and a half tour. So we're still playing by the rules here.
I'll give you that one, bro. But when you first started playing that album in full, mate, like, Was it a difficult thing to do? Like, I can't imagine when you wrote it back then that you ever thought you'd be playing the whole lot one day.
Well, it is. It's a lot, definitely for me vocally, because, I sang the majority of that record. Roger sang all my best friends are metalheads. He certainly sings a lot of backing vocals. And over the years, we've definitely become more of a 50-50 split. But back then, coming off the heels of Losing Streak, it was, I was the singer. He sang some songs. He was singing tons of backups. And then so in that aspect, it's tough. We've played all those songs over the years, by themselves, never as a whole. But when we went back and played all the record in succession, it's you're right. You typically when you're a young band, you don't write a record and play the whole thing through. At
No.
least we weren't at that time. So it's a cool trip down memory lane.
Yeah. How about like personally going back and learning all that material from 25 years ago? Like, does it take you back to that time? Like, is it a nostalgic thing for you, or is it just you've got to learn them to play them?
With this record again, we've played each of these songs, live at least once. There's some other records that we have that some songs just never translated past the rehearsal room or translated past getting them recorded. And so, yeah, they're always going to conjure up memories, but the memories are more now from the fans and what the songs mean to them and hearing their stories.
Yeah, true.
That's that's what keeps the songs alive. That's what keeps people clicking online to, or being old school and popping the CD in or putting the record player on and listening to the music.
Yeah. This is one thing I've always wondered, mate, and I'm not sure if this actually relates to you or not, but like a lot of bands they write really personal songs about troubles they're going through in their life. Like if you went back and had to revisit that 25 years later to do that album, like would that bring back all those negative feelings again, like that you'd purged in the first place?
Well, our drummer at the time, Vinny, he wrote 99.9% of the lyrics, I always say.
Oh,
Roger and I would arrange them. We'd come up with words and whatnot. But, you know, that was all I ever knew. I met him when I was 15. He was like 18 or 19 years old. And, he would feed me these snippets of lyrics, sometimes full ideas, sometimes just phrases here and there. And that's all I ever knew. I've had people ask me before, how do you sing other people's song with conviction and make it yours? So to answer, does it bring up bad memories? No, all the memories of those songs are all very positive to me, especially the writing process of it because it was all happening so fast. We were so young and every day was just this adventure. It was exciting because we didn't really know what was going to happen that day except okay, we're playing a show or we're getting back in the van and we got to record a new song and it was so fast. I always say if I could go back, I would slow down. I probably wouldn't, but I like, I don't have regrets, but if I could go back, I'd try to just slow down a little bit to savor it all because it went by in the blink of an eye.
yeah, I can imagine. And the other show that you're playing, of course, is the Hotter Than Hell, which features Regurgitator, Unwritten Law, Jebediah, and more, mate. Like that sounds like a party, bro. There's some pretty cool bands there.
Yeah, I mean, again, 32 years into this journey, to be invited to a festival in Australia and have people want to interview you and talk to you, you know, not many bands in this world. Think of the superstars. Think of your huge bands, whoever, Rolling Stones, Foo Fighters, Metallica, bands that fill stadiums. There's not that many of them, and then think of all the millions of bands from the band at the local pub to the band that's been trying their whole career to get a record contract. How many of those bands are out there? And then you got these floater bands like Less Than Jake, Unwritten Law, like, we might not be household names. I'm not getting mobbed when I walk down the road, but there's 1,000 people in Sydney that want to see the band play. It's cool.
Yeah, it's got to be a buzz, bro. It's really, really got to be a good feeling.
It is. It is. I have friends that are uber famous and like imagine going to the store or to a show or something, and you couldn't take your kids there because you're getting harassed the whole time. People want your autograph, want to talk to you, and people think that that's glamorous. And man, I kind of have the one foot in both worlds. I have the best of both worlds.
Good on you, right? And I guess the bands that were getting up you initially because you weren't coming to these places are going to want to know, but will you be playing Hello Rockville at the Hotter Than Hell shows as well, or is that a different set?
It depends. We had this discussion maybe a week ago with the band, the last meeting we had. Someone had brought it up. I think that we're scheduled for a 45-minute or an hour top set. So if it's under an hour, we're not going to get the record in because with talking and stopping, we're probably around the 55 minute mark. But so to answer your question, yes, I don't know.
Yes, I don't know. Double negative. I like it.
Yeah.
So, less than Jake are a band like you're universally known for your live shows, mate. Like how much practice and effort goes into them, or is it just spontaneous every night?
I'd like to tell you that a lot of a lot of planning and effort goes into it, which I guess ultimately it does, but 90% of the magic happens with what the audience brings, and uh this is not a knock against anybody else's band or their show or their politics, but we've never brought anything but fun into a live setting. We've never preached at people. It's not about that. It's you leave whatever you got going on at the door and whatever in your personal life, and you get in the venue, and we're going to give you an hour, hour and a half of our time, and we're all gonna go somewhere together. And typically we all go to a place of just complete insanity. It's ridiculous. We laugh at each other, we make fun of each other, all in good jest. And rarely do I get off stage and think it was a bad show. And if it is, it's just the crap between my ears. I've grown to realize that just because I had a bad show, that doesn't mean that anybody else did.
Yeah, cool. But you guys don't exactly stand still, bro. Especially yourself, and like neither of us are getting any younger. Like, how do you go with your body? Like, do you find you have to compensate in certain bits so you don't limp off?
Yes. Well, I I guess you call it the same thing in Australia. I go to CrossFit a couple days a week.
Mhm.
So I do that to stay fit. I keep my cardio up. I say try to eat a good diet. I do better when I'm home. I do terrible on the road, man, because I like to eat like crap. And
It's
but
convenient.
yeah, I work out like a madman. The other thing I do is I to answer your question, I stretch at least once, if not twice a day. I believe that stretching and walking, more so than anything, smoking, not sleeping, recreational substances, a bad diet, all that stuff. Yeah, it's not good for you, but I'm a firm believer that you got to keep moving. Think about people when they get in their late 70s, 80s, and they fall and break a hip because they have
Yeah.
no mobility. So and I want to keep doing this. I enjoy playing. Most of the guys that I know in the business that have had longevity, they're not too much weight on the body. They're trying to keep the bones as weight free as they can.
Yeah. Hey, you released a single, "Broken Words," back in June, mate. Like, is that a standalone single or is it part of the next album cycle?
Yeah, so that's a standalone single. We released another song called "Walking Pipe Bomb" in July,
Mhm.
and then about a week ago, we released our current single called "Not My Problem." So we have another single coming out in September. So we're just kind of doling out singles and seeing how that goes. We've kind of flopped back and forth the past couple of years. We've done EPs, we've done singles, we've done full length. So it's kind of whatever strikes us at the moment. And right now, we just kind of want to dole them out as single pieces of work.
Yeah, cool. Now, before we go, mate, I've got a new segment that I've introduced with our interviews. It's called Photo Bombs. So I've basically gone through the internet and found a couple of photos of you guys, and I'm going to flash them on the screen here. and you explain to us what's going on there.
All right.
All right, the first one I've got is this one. Where were you guys for that?
That is on the 2016 Warp Tour in the United States. I don't know what venue or what state that is in, but I can see behind us that Falling in Reverse. You can see Reverse back there. They were
Yeah.
next to us that day. And again, definitely know it was 2016 because we had this presidential tent that matched all of our, because that was an election year here in the
Right.
States. You can see our trombone player wearing the tattoo there. So 2016 Warp Tour.
Rightio, and I got one more for you. What the hell is going on there?
So that is our sax player JR and our trombone player Buddy. We would launch into a song on Warp. Again, this is on the Warp Tour. This would have been, um, I know that backdrop. That would have been 2011 or 2014. Anyhow, that is a Mohawk template, that thing on the top of the kid's head. And we basically were trying to bring back punk rock that summer. And we said, we're going to give free Mohawks on stage. So we were bringing up long-haired kids, and Buddy would take the hair and put the template back, and then JR would shave the kid's head. And yeah, we were not great barbers.
Did you keep a tally of how many kids you got up and shave their head?
Well, there was one every day. At least one kid a day would come up who could shave their head. So yeah, we were cutting mohawks all across America.
I imagine many of those kids got home and the father grounded them for life because they went out with a decent haircut and came home with a mohawk.
I'm sure we weren't the favorite band around the household.
Oh, very good. All right, Crystal, thanks for your time, bro. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Les and Jake are here in October for their own shows. They're here for Hotter Than Hell. It's going to be a blast. I'll see you at the Brisbane show, brother, and we'll catch up another beer.
All right, mate. Cheers. Thank you.